We are going through this example right here. It says solve tan of theta plus the square root of 3 is equal to 0 for theta is an element of 0 and 2 pi. Okay, the first thing that we need to do here is rearrange it so that we have this on the other side. We need to move it over, so that means we're going to subtract both sides by the square root of 3. So I'm going to get tan of theta is equal to negative the square root of 3. Okay, once I've done that now, I'm going to figure out what my reference angle is going to be, and I'm going to use my special triangle to help me out here. Remember, there'll be some of us who, after a while, won't need to use our special triangle to figure these things out. You've just done it so many times, you'll just memorize it. Now, once I'm here, I need to figure out, all right, tan is opposite over adjacent, and I need to get the square root of 3 out. Remember, you're just ignoring that negative. So it's going to be down here because this is opposite, this is adjacent. Oh, sorry, the other way around rather. This is opposite, this is adjacent. So it's going to be the pi on 3 there. Opposite, adjacent, I get the square root of 3. So my reference angle is pi on 3. All right, then remember the next thing that we need to do here is we need to actually figure out which quadrants I exist in. Now, when dealing with tan, the way I like to think about it is in terms of gradient. And just remember, there's only 3 things you need to remember for tan. So let me just quickly draw them in. You need to remember this, this, and this, and think about it in terms of gradient. So the lowest one here, this angle here, is the shallowest and therefore has the smallest number. This one is 1 and this one is the square root of 3. So we obviously, because we're dealing with the square root of 3, want the steepest gradient, but we also want where the gradient is negative. So that's going to be, if I grab another color here, it's going to be here in my second quadrant, because as you can see, this is going to be negative the square root of 3, and that's the gradient of it. As you can see, it's negative and it's very steep. Where else will I have a negative steep gradient? It actually just follows right through down here. So it's going to be in my second quadrant and in my fourth quadrant. So I need to figure out if the reference angle is pi on 3, what is this angle going to be, and what is this angle going to be. So in my second quadrant, pi on 3 becomes 2 pi on 3, and then in my fourth quadrant, it becomes 5 pi on 3. And again, these are just things to memorize. For the fourth quadrant, what I remember is if you double the denominator, 6, and then subtract 1 from it, 5, you get your answer. All right, and there is my answer to that. Remember, we've also got to key an eye on our domain here. It's only between 0 and 2 pi, so we stop there. Only 2 solutions for this one. We're done.